Nobody could tame the Mafia boss's Pitbull. Then the new Maid did something shocking. The Pitbull launched itself at Sofia's throat the second she stepped through the mansion doors. 80 pounds of muscle and rage. Teeth bared, snarling like death itself. The head housekeeper screamed. 2 security guards reached for guns. Everyone's certain they were about to watch the new Maid get torn apart on her first day. Sofia dropped to her knees. Instant, deliberate. Made herself small. Turned her head to the side. Exposed her neck. Every instinct screaming wrong, but her body language speaking pure submission. The dog's momentum carried it forward. Jaws snapping inches from her face. But instead of attacking, it stopped. Confused. This human wasn't running. Wasn't fighting. Wasn't showing fear. Sofia stayed frozen. Kept her eyes down. Breathed slowly. Steady. Let the dog circle her. Sniff her. Process this strange behavior. The mansion held its breath. Guards frozen with weapons half drawn. Staff pressed against walls. Waiting for the attack. For the screaming. For the blood. The Pitbull sat. Right in front of Sofia. Tilted its massive head. Then lay down. Pressed its scarred body against her knees. Whimpered. Like a puppy seeking comfort. Like it had been waiting its entire life for someone to understand. What the hell just happened? The voice came from the top of the grand staircase. Dominic Russo. The boss. The man who owned this mansion and half the city. He descended slowly. Eyes locked on the impossible scene. His attack dog. The beast that had sent 3 maids to the hospital. That had scarred his head of security. That he kept specifically because nothing and nobody could control it. Was cuddling a woman he'd hired an hour ago. If you're already hooked, smash that subscribe button. This story gets wild. Asterisk asterisk. Sofia slowly raised her eyes. Met Dominic's stare. I grew up rehabilitating fighting dogs. Her voice was calm. Steady. Your dog isn't vicious, Mr. Russo. He's terrified. There's a difference. Dominic reached the bottom of the stairs. Stared at Sofia. At his dog pressed against her like she was safety itself. Thor had been his sister's dog. Maria's baby. Before the rival family killed her. Before Dominic inherited a traumatized animal that attacked everyone who came near. He'd kept Thor despite the danger. Despite the liability. Because putting him down felt like losing Maria twice. Nobody's been able to touch him in 2 years. Dominic's voice was rough. I've hired professional trainers. Dog psychologists. Everyone gets bitten. Everyone quits. What did you just do? I didn't do anything. Sofia's hand moved slowly. Carefully. Touched Thor's head. He leaned into her palm. Desperate for gentleness. He did everything. I just showed him I wasn't a threat. That I understood his fear. Dogs that attack aren't mean, Mr. Russo. They're protecting themselves from a world that hurt them. The head housekeeper, Margaret, stepped forward cautiously. Miss Sofia, that dog put me in the emergency room last month. 12 stitches. He's dangerous. He's in pain. Sofia's fingers found a scar on Thor's neck. Old. Badly healed. See this? Embedded collar. Someone kept him chained so tight it cut into his skin. And this. She touched his ribs. Healed fractures. Multiple. He was beaten. Starved. Trained to fight. Every person who walks through that door looks like another threat. Another source of pain. Dominic felt something crack in his chest. Maria had rescued Thor from a fighting ring. Spent months rehabilitating him. Had just started a breakthrough when she died. Thor witnessed it. The shooting. The blood. Had been found 3 days later guarding Maria's body. Attacking anyone who tried to approach. Can you help him? Dominic heard himself ask. Really help him? Not just survive him? I can try. Sofia looked up. Met Dominic's eyes fully. But it takes time. Patience. You can't rush trauma recovery. For dogs or humans. I need to work with him daily. Build trust. Show him the world isn't going to hurt him anymore. You're hired. Dominic made the decision instantly. Not as a maid. As Thor's handler. Whatever you need. Whatever it takes. He glanced at Margaret. Give her Maria's old room. The one connected to the dog's space. Sir, that's. Margaret hesitated. That's the family wing. Not staff quarters. I know where it is. Dominic's voice carried finality. Thor needs her close. So that's where she stays. Sofia stood slowly. Thor rose with her, pressed against her leg. Already bonded, already claiming her as his. She was small, maybe 5'3", curves hidden under simple clothes. Dark hair pulled back. Nothing remarkable until you saw her eyes. Warm, understanding, old beyond her years, like she'd seen her own share of trauma. What happened to you? Dominic found himself asking. That made you understand broken things? I was one. Sofia's answer was simple, honest. Grew up in foster care. Bad homes. Worse people. The only things that made sense were the dogs. The abandoned ones. The fighters. The ones everyone said were too damaged to save. I understood them. They understood me. We save each other. Dominic's respect shifted into something else. Fascination. This woman, this stranger, had walked into his home and done the impossible. Tamed the untamable. Calmed the chaos. Made his sister's beloved dog trust again. Who was Sofia really? The staff watched in shock as Sofia moved through the mansion. Thor following like a shadow. She assessed his space, his food, his routine, made immediate changes. The chain removed. The concrete kennel replaced with soft bedding. The isolation ended. Thor stayed with her. Calm, obedient, transformed. By evening, Dominic found himself in the kitchen, watching Sofia prepare Thor's dinner. She mixed supplements, checked portions, talked to the dog like he understood every word. Thor sat patiently. No aggression, no tension, just a damaged animal finally feeling safe. You really think he can be normal? Dominic leaned against the doorframe. After everything he's been through, normal is overrated. Sofia smiled slightly. But happy? Trusting? Able to live without fear? Yes, I think he can have that. If we're patient. If we let him heal at his own pace. Dominic caught the word. You planning to stay? That depends. Sofia met his gaze. On whether you can handle having someone around who sees through the scary reputation. Who knows that keeping a dangerous dog isn't about protection. It's about not letting go. About holding onto the last piece of someone you loved. Dominic's breath caught. She'd read him. Completely. Understood what Thor represented. The grief. The guilt. The inability to move forward. This woman was dangerous. Not to his body. To the walls he'd built around his heart. My sister. He heard himself confess. Maria. She rescued Thor. Loved him. Was helping him heal. Then she died. He saw it happen. Hasn't been the same since. I kept him because... Dominic's voice cracked. Because putting him down felt like giving up on her. Like admitting she's really gone. She wanted him happy. Sofia's voice was gentle. Not suffering. Not attacking everyone out of fear. Let me help him, Mr. Russo. Let me give him the healing she started. Dominic, he said quietly. Call me Dominic. If you're going to live in the family wing. Work with Thor every day. Be part of this. Use my name. Sofia nodded. Dominic then. And I'm Sofia. Just Sofia. Not Mississippi. Not ma'am. Just a girl who understands broken things. Thor chose that moment to walk over to Dominic. For the first time in 2 years. Pressed against his leg. Let himself be touched. Dominic's hand trembled, reaching down. Touched the scarred head. Thor didn't flinch. Didn't pull away. Just accepted the affection like it was safe. Like Sofia had shown him it could be. Thank you. Dominic's voice was raw. For whatever you did. However you did it. Thank you. I didn't do anything yet. Sofia watched them together. The dog and the man. Both traumatized. Both holding on to pain. That was just introduction. The real work starts tomorrow. Building trust. Addressing triggers. Teaching him the world can be gentle. Are you ready for that? Am I part of the training? Dominic asked. He was your sister's dog. Sofia's voice was certain. He needs to trust you too. To feel safe with you. To know you're not going to hurt him or leave him. So yes, you're part of this. Every day, we work together. Or this doesn't work at all. Dominic nodded. Found himself wanting this. The project. The purpose. The excuse to spend time with this woman who'd walked into his home and changed everything in minutes. Tomorrow then. What time? Dawn. Sofia's smile was small. Real. Dogs heal best in quiet. Before the world gets loud. Before fear has a chance to build. 6 a.m. Backyard. Comfortable clothes. Ready to learn. I'll be there. Dominic promised. Meant it. This was more than dog training. This was something, a chance, an opportunity to heal something he'd thought was permanently broken. Not just Thor, but maybe, if he was lucky, if Sofia was as good as she seemed. Maybe himself too. That night Dominic couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about Sofia, her calmness, her understanding, the way she'd seen through his reputation to the grief underneath. The way Thor had responded to her, like she was salvation itself. How did someone so young, so seemingly innocent, understand trauma so completely? He pulled her background check. Standard procedure. What he found made his blood run cold. Foster care, like she said, but the details. Physical abuse, neglect. Moved 17 times before aging out at 18. No family, no support. She'd survived by working at animal shelters, rescue organizations, building a reputation for rehabilitating aggressive dogs nobody else could handle. Sofia Chin wasn't just a maid who happened to be good with dogs. She was a professional, skilled, sought after. So why take a job at his mansion? Why work as household staff when she could make more doing rehabilitation full-time? Dominic made a note to find out, to understand this woman who'd disrupted his carefully controlled world, who'd tamed his sister's dog, who'd looked at him with eyes that saw too much, understood too much, made him feel exposed in ways that should terrify him. Instead, he felt curious, intrigued, drawn to her in ways that defied logic. She was staff, off-limits, completely inappropriate, but the way she'd knelt before Thor, offered submission instead of dominance, shown strength through vulnerability. That had been captivating, mesmerizing, unforgettable. Tomorrow couldn't come fast enough. 6 a.m. Backyard. Sofia teaching him how to reach the dog he'd thought was unreachable. Teaching him, Dominic suspected, how to reach parts of himself he'd locked away. How to heal, how to hope, how to live beyond survival. All because a small woman with knowing eyes had done something shocking. Had tamed the untamable not through force, but through understanding, through recognition of shared pain. Through the simple, profound act of showing a damaged soul, it was finally safe. Thor slept that night curled outside Sofia's door. Not chained, not caged, just resting, peacefully. For the first time since Maria died, the mansion was quiet, calm, changed, and Dominic, watching security footage of Sofia's arrival, replaying the moment Thor surrendered to her gentle authority, felt something shift in his chest, something that had been frozen since his sister's death. Hope, fragile, terrifying, real. Because if Sofia could save Thor, could reach through trauma to find trust, could transform violence into peace through nothing but patience and understanding, maybe, just maybe, she could do the same for him. The beast everyone feared, the boss nobody could tame, the man who'd forgotten how to be anything except dangerous. Sofia Chun had walked into his mansion, dropped to her knees, and changed everything. The real question was, would Dominic let her keep changing it? Let her close enough to heal what he'd thought was irreparably broken? Tomorrow, he'd start finding out. 6 a.m., ready to learn, ready to trust, ready to discover what happened when the untamable met someone who refused to be afraid. Dominic arrived at the backyard at 5:45 a.m. Early, anxious, found Sofia already there with Thor, both sitting in the grass watching the sunrise. The dog's head rested on her lap, completely relaxed, completely trusting, a sight Dominic had never witnessed in 2 years. "You're early." Sofia didn't turn around, just knew he was there. Couldn't sleep? Haven't slept well in 2 years. Dominic moved closer, slowly, the way Sofia had taught him yesterday in their late-night session. No sudden movements, no direct approaches. Let Thor process his presence. Since Maria died, since Thor became this, he wasn't always like this. Sofia's hand stroked Thor's head. "Your sister's notes, the ones Margaret gave me from her room. Maria documented everything. Thor was sweet once, playful. The fighting ring destroyed that. Then losing her destroyed what was left. You read her journals?" Dominic's voice caught. Those were private. She wrote them for whoever came next. Sofia finally looked at him. For whoever would love Thor after she was gone. She knew her life was dangerous, knew she might not survive. So she left instructions, a roadmap for healing him. I'm just following what she started. Dominic sat down, 10 feet away, gave Thor space. The dog's ears perked, watched Dominic, but didn't growl, didn't tense. Progress, small but real. What did she say? About helping him? That force never works with trauma. Sofia pulled out a worn notebook, Maria's handwriting covering the pages. That you have to earn trust through consistency, through proving over and over that you're safe, that the world isn't going to hurt them anymore. She was doing that, making progress. Then my enemies took her from him. Dominic finished, his voice bitter, raw. The Castellano family. They wanted territory I controlled. Thought killing Maria would make me weak, vulnerable. Instead, it made me. He stopped, couldn't finish. A monster? Sofia's voice was gentle. That's what people call you now. The boss who became ruthless after his sister died, who shows no mercy, no weakness, who keeps a vicious dog as a symbol of what he's become. I'm not a monster. Dominic met her eyes. I'm just broken, like Thor, like you probably understand better than anyone. I do. Sofia's honesty was brutal. I was in a home once. Foster father used to beat his dogs when he was angry, then beat me. I learned young that violence isn't about the victim. It's about the abuser's pain, their fear, their inability to control anything else. So they control what they can, through force, through fear. Don't forget to like and share this story. You won't believe what happens next. That's why you drop to your knees. Dominic understood. Yesterday, when Thor attacked, you weren't showing submission. You were showing him you understood, that you weren't going to hurt him back. Exactly. Sofia smiled slightly. Fear makes us aggressive, makes us strike first. Survive. Thor's been surviving for so long he forgot how to just live. Your sister was teaching him. Now we continue the work. How? Dominic watched Thor, this dog who'd attacked everyone, who represented everything broken in his life. How do we reach him? By reaching yourself first. Sofia's eyes held his. Dogs mirror emotions. Thor feels your grief, your rage, your fear of losing what little you have left of Maria. He carries it, acts it out, protects you from a world he thinks is threatening. You want him to heal? You have to heal too. The words hit like bullets. Accurate, devastating. Dominic had built walls, become harder, more dangerous, pushed everyone away except Thor. And Thor had become his mirror. Aggressive, isolated, untrusting. They've been feeding each other's trauma for 2 years. I don't know how to heal. Dominic's confession came out broken. Don't know how to let go, how to move forward. Maria was everything. My baby sister. I raised her after our parents died. Protected her. Failed her. And now you're punishing yourself. Sofia's voice cut through. Keeping Thor as penance, as proof of your failure. As long as he's suffering, you get to suffer too. That's not love, Dominic. That's self-destruction. Dominic's hands clenched. You don't know anything about what I feel. Don't I? Sofia's eyes flashed. I kept a dog once. After I aged out of foster care. Adopted the most aggressive pit bull at the shelter. The one scheduled for euthanasia. Spent every dollar I had on training. On vet bills. On proving I could save something. Anything. When I couldn't save myself from all those years of abuse. What happened to the dog? Dominic asked quietly. I saved him. Sofia's voice softened. And he saved me. Taught me that healing isn't linear. That trust takes time. That love means patience, not possession. He lived 8 good years. Died peacefully in his sleep. And I learned that sometimes saving something broken helps you save yourself. Dominic felt something shift. This woman, this stranger, had walked into his life and seen everything. The grief, the guilt, the self-destruction masked as protection. And instead of judging, she understood, because she'd lived it, survived it, learned from it. Teach me. Dominic's voice was raw. How to reach him, how to help him, how to stop destroying us both. The training began. Daily sessions. Dawn breaking over the estate while Sofia taught Dominic the language of trauma recovery. How to read Thor's body language. The difference between fear aggression and true danger. The triggers, the patterns, the small victories that built toward healing. Dominic learned to be gentle, something he'd forgotten how to be. Learned to sit quiet and let Thor come to him. Learned that vulnerability wasn't weakness. That patience was its own kind of strength. And slowly, gradually, Thor began to trust him. The way he trusted Sofia. The way Maria had taught him to trust before the world took her away. The mansion staff noticed the change. Dominic spending hours in the backyard, laughing when Thor finally played. Actually played. Chasing a ball Sofia threw. Acting like a normal dog instead of a weapon. The boss they'd feared for 2 years was softening, becoming human again. Margaret watched from the kitchen window. She's good for him, the old housekeeper observed. Both of them. Haven't seen Mr. Russo smile since Miss Maria died. Now look at him. It's dangerous. One of the security guards, Marcus, spoke quietly. The families are noticing. Words getting out that the boss has softened. That he's distracted, vulnerable. The Castellanos are already moving. Testing boundaries. Pushing territory lines. Then we protect him. Margaret's voice was firm. And her. That girl special. Doing something none of us could. Bringing him back from whatever dark place he's been living in. But the enemies were already planning. Already circling. They'd heard about the new maid. The one who'd tamed Dominic Russo's vicious dog. The one he spent hours with. Alone. In private. Teaching him things that made him laugh. Made him vulnerable. Made him weak. The Castellano family saw opportunity. If they couldn't break Dominic through violence, maybe they could break him through the thing he was just learning to care about again. Through Sofia. Through making him lose someone else he was starting to love. The first attempt came on a Thursday. Sofia was walking Thor through the estate gardens. Late afternoon. Peaceful. Beautiful. She didn't see the men until they were close. 3 of them. Armed. Moving fast. Coordinated. Professional. Thor saw them first. His body went rigid. The old aggression surging back. But different now. Not fear-driven. Protective. He placed himself between Sofia and the threat. Growled. Deep. Dangerous. The sound of a dog who'd learned to trust. And would kill to protect what he loved. Sofia's hand found his collar. Steady. Calm. Even as her heart raced. Easy boy. We're okay. We're safe. But her other hand hit the panic button Dominic had insisted she carry. Silent alarm. Straight to security. Straight to him. The men advanced. One pulled a gun. Smiled. Boss keeps a mean dog and a pretty toy. Let's see which one he cares about more. Thor launched. 80 pounds of protective fury. No fear now. No trauma. Just pure instinct to defend. He hit the gunman first. Jaws locking on the wrist. The gun clattered away. The man screamed. The other 2 moved to intervene. Sofia didn't freeze. Years of surviving bad homes. Dangerous people. Kicked in. She grabbed the fallen gun. Pointed it with hands that barely shook. Back off. Now, or I shoot. And I don't miss. The men hesitated. This wasn't the scared Maid they expected. This was someone who'd survived worse than them. Who'd learned to fight back. Who had a trained attack dog and a gun and absolutely zero fear in her eyes. Dominic burst through the garden gate. Marcus and 4 guard with him. Guns drawn. Faces lethal. The men tried to run. Didn't make it 10 feet. Dominic's security was too fast, too efficient, too motivated by fury that someone had dared threaten what was theirs. Dominic went straight to Sofia, hands checking her for injuries, eyes wild with fear that had nothing to do with territory or empire and everything to do with the woman who'd become. Essential, important, more than he'd realized until she was in danger. You're okay? He cupped her face, made her look at him. You're not hurt? I'm fine. Sofia's voice shook slightly. Thor protected me. The training. It worked. He didn't attack from fear. He attacked to defend. There's a difference. Dominic looked at Thor, the dog sitting at Sofia's feet, blood on his muzzle, but eyes clear. Calm. This was the dog Maria had envisioned. Not broken, not vicious, but loyal, protective, able to discern real threat from perceived danger. Sofia had done it. Had finished what his sister started. Who sent you? Dominic turned to the captured man. His voice was ice. Death barely contained. Who gave the order? One of the men spat blood. Smiled. Castellano says hello. Says your dog and your whore made you soft. Easy target. Guess he was wrong. Dominic hit him. Once. Brutal. The man's head snapped back. Guard. He pointed. Take them to the warehouse. I'll deal with them personally. Tonight. The men were dragged away. Dominic turned back to Sofia. Found her watching him. Seeing this side. The violence. The darkness. The monster everyone feared. Expected her to flinch. To run. To realize what he really was beneath the gentleman who trained dogs at dawn. Instead, Sofia stepped closer. Touched his bloodied knuckles. You're shaking. Her voice was soft. From fear. Not anger. You thought you'd lose someone else. I can't. Dominic's control cracked. I can't lose you too. Do you understand that? You came here to help Thor. But Sofia, you become. He couldn't finish. Couldn't say it. Too soon. Too much. Too real. I know. Sofia's hand covered his heart. I feel it too. This thing between us. It's not just about the dog anymore. It's us. And that terrifies me. Because people I care about always leave. Always get taken. And your world. It's so dangerous. Then leave. Dominic forced the words out. If you're scared. If this is too much. I'll set you up somewhere safe. Away from me. From this life. No. Sofia's voice was certain. I don't run anymore. I spent 18 years running. From homes. From pain. From people who hurt me. I'm done running, Dominic. I'm staying. With you. With Thor. With whatever comes next. Even if it means danger. Dominic searched her face. Even if my enemies target you to get to me. Even if loving me puts you in constant risk. Even then. Sofia smiled. Besides, I have a trained attack dog now. And a mafia boss who looks at me like I hung the moon. I think I'll survive. Dominic kissed her. Right there in the garden. Blood on his knuckles and fear in his heart. And this woman who'd walked into his life and healed everything she touched. Thor sat beside them. Tail wagging. Finally understanding. That his people were safe. Together. That the pack was whole again. But inside the mansion, Marcus made urgent calls. The Castellanos had tried once. Would try again. Harder. Smarter. More brutal. Sofia had become Dominic's weakness. His vulnerability. His reason to care about something other than revenge and empire. And in this world, caring meant leverage. Meant target. Meant danger neither of them fully understood yet. But would learn. Soon. When the real war began. The war for Sofia's life. Thor's loyalty. And Dominic's soul. The war that would test everything they'd built. Everything they'd healed. Everything they'd just barely begun to believe was possible. Love. Trust. Hope. The three things most dangerous in a world built on violence. The three things worth fighting for. Worth dying for. Worth becoming something better than monsters for. The untamable had been tamed. Now came the hard part. Staying tamed. When the whole world wanted them to be beasts again. The Castellano family watched the mansion for 3 days. Documented Sofia's routines. Her morning walks with Thor. Her afternoon training sessions. The moments she was most vulnerable. Most exposed. They'd learn from the first failed attempt. This time they'd be smarter. Faster. More brutal. Sofia sensed the surveillance. Years of surviving dangerous homes taught her to read threats. The cars that lingered too long. The strangers watching from across the street. The prickling awareness of being hunted. She told Dominic. He doubled security. Kept her close. But they both knew. Eventually the Castellanos would find their opening. It came on a Tuesday morning. Sofia was in the garden with Thor. Dominic in an emergency meeting with his captains. Security stretched thin. Distracted. The perfect moment. 6 men scaled the back wall. Professional. Armed. Moving with military precision. Thor sensed them first. Body going rigid. The protective growl starting deep in his chest. Sofia's hand found his collar. Ready. Steady. But this time, they weren't stopping to talk. Weren't giving warnings. They opened fire immediately. Tranquilizer darts. One caught Thor in the shoulder. He yelped. Staggered. Fought to stay conscious. No. Sofia caught him as he fell. The dog weighing heavy against her. Eyes rolling. Trying so hard to protect her. To stay alert. But the drugs pulling him under. I'm sorry, boy. I'm so sorry. She kissed his head. Promised. I'll come back for you. The men surrounded her, grabbed her arms. She fought, kicked, scratched, connected with throats and groins and eyes. Survivor instincts blazing. But 6 against 1. Trained fighters against a small woman. They zip-tied her hands, gagged her, dragged her toward the wall. The alarm finally triggered. Too late. Security flooding the garden. Finding Thor unconscious. Sofia gone. The nightmare scenario. The one thing Dominic had tried desperately to prevent. They'd taken her, right from his home, right under his protection. Dominic's roar echoed through the mansion. Primal. Devastating. He burst into the garden, saw Thor struggling to wake. The trampled grass. Sofia's torn jacket. And he knew with absolute certainty, that he loved her. Completely. Irrevocably. And he might have just lost her. Marcus. Dominic's voice was death itself. Find her. Use every contact, every favor, every resource we have. I want to know where they took her. And I want the Castellanos to understand that they just made the biggest mistake of their lives. Boss. Marcus hesitated. They left a message. Want you to call. Negotiate terms. I don't negotiate. Dominic pulled his gun. Check the clip. I execute. Get the men ready. Full assault. Whatever it takes. The call came 10 minutes later. Antonio Castellano's voice smooth and confident. Dominic, we need to discuss your recent distraction. The girl and the dog. They're making you weak. Vulnerable. Not good for business. Where is she? Dominic kept his voice controlled. Barely. If you've hurt her. If you've touched her. She's alive. For now. Antonio laughed. Comfortable. Safe. In one of our facilities. Come alone. We'll discuss terms for her return. Maybe you give us territory. Maybe you step down. Maybe you just disappear, like your sister did. Dominic's control snapped. You have 3 hours. Then I burn every Castellano property to the ground. Every business. Every home. Every family member. You took something that belongs to me. I'll take everything that belongs to you. He hung up, turned to his assembled men. 20 of his best. Armed. Lethal. Ready to go to war. They have Sofia in the old cannery. He sighed. I know Antonio's patterns. His safe houses. Marcus. Take 10 men. Hit their downtown offices. Make noise. Draw their forces there. I'll take the rest to the cannery. We extract Sofia. Then we end this. Tonight. Permanently. Subscribe now. This story is about to get insane. But at the cannery, Sofia wasn't waiting passively for rescue. She'd been tied to a chair in a freezing warehouse, guarded by 4 men. They thought she was helpless. Scared. Just a maid who'd gotten caught in the crossfire. They were wrong. Sofia had spent her childhood escaping restraints. Foster homes taught her how to slip zip ties, how to fake fear while planning escape, how to survive when nobody was coming to save her. She worked her wrists slowly, methodically, using the chair's rough edge. The plastic cutting into skin, but loosening. Loosening. One guard approached, smirking. You're pretty. Shame the boss wants you dead. Could have had some fun first. Sofia looked up, eyes wide, terrified, playing the role perfectly. Please, I'm just a maid. I don't know anything. Just let me go. He leaned closer, reached to touch her face. Sofia's hands came free. She grabbed his gun, twisted, pulled. The weapon came loose. She fired. Once. Center mass. He dropped. The other guard scrambled. Shocked. The helpless maid had just killed their partner. Sofia ran. Still zip-tied at the ankles, but moving. Hopping. Desperate. She made it to a side exit before they caught her. Slammed her against the wall. But she bought time. Made noise. Alerted whatever backup Dominic was bringing. Because she knew he was coming. Knew with absolute certainty that Dominic Russo would burn the world to find her. Would bring hell itself to get her back. She just had to survive until he arrived. Outside, Dominic's team moved into position. He'd been right about the location. Thermal imaging showed 4 heat signatures inside. One smaller. Sofia. Still alive. Still fighting. Pride and terror warred in his chest. This woman, this incredible woman who'd healed his dog and his heart, was in there alone. Scared. Waiting for him. We go on my signal. Dominic's voice was controlled. Lethal. No prisoners. anyone who touched her, anyone who held her, anyone who even looked at her wrong. They don't leave this building alive. The assault was brutal, efficient. Dominic's men breaching from 3 sides simultaneously. Gunfire erupting. The Castellano guards were good, but Dominic's men were motivated by something beyond money or loyalty. They were protecting their boss's heart, and that made them unstoppable. Dominic found Sofia in the back room, bruised, bleeding from her wrists, but standing, fighting. She'd taken down 2 more guards with a metal pipe, was facing the last one when Dominic burst through the door. The guard turned, raised his weapon. Dominic fired twice. The man dropped. Sofia's legs gave out. Relief and exhaustion and fear finally crashing through. Dominic caught her, held her, his hands shaking as they checked for serious injuries. His control finally breaking completely. "I thought I lost you." His voice cracked, raw, terrified. "Well, they said they had you. When I saw Thor unconscious and you gone. Sofia, I can't do this without you. You won't have to." Sofia's hands cupped his face, bloody and trembling, but steady. "I'm here. I survived. We survived. Because you taught me I was worth saving, worth fighting for, worth coming back for." Dominic kissed her, desperate, claiming, full of everything he couldn't say, everything he'd been too scared to feel since Maria died. Love, need, absolute terror of losing another person who mattered. Sofia kissed back, fierce, certain, choosing him, choosing this dangerous, complicated life, choosing love despite every reason not to. They extracted under covering fire. Marcus's distraction working perfectly. The Castellanos split their forces. Couldn't respond fast enough. By the time Antonio realized the downtown hit was a feint, Sofia was safe. Back at the mansion. Back with Thor, who'd woken up frantic. Searching for her. The dog nearly knocked her over. Licking her face. Whimpering. Checking that she was real. That she'd come back. That his pack was whole. Sofia held him. Crying. Laughing. This animal who'd been so broken. Who'd learned to trust. To protect. To love. Had tried so hard to save her. "He took a dart for you." Dominic watched them. His voice thick. Fought through the drugs. Trying to wake up. Trying to reach you. "He loves you, Sofia. As much as I do." Sofia looked up. Tears streaming. "Say that again. The last part. I love you." Dominic knelt beside her. Beside Thor. His hands gentle on both. "I'm in love with you, Sofia-chan. Completely. Terrifyingly. And I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. I know my world is dangerous and you almost died today because of me. But I can't let you go. Can't pretend this isn't real. Isn't everything. I love you too." Sofia's voice was certain. "Since the moment you trusted me with Thor. With your grief. With the parts of yourself you keep hidden. I've been falling. And yes, today was terrifying. But Dominic, I've been terrified my whole life. At least now I'm terrified with someone who fights for me. Who comes for me. Who loves me enough to burn the world down." They held each other. Thor pressed against both. The broken boss. The healing maid. The traumatized dog. 3 damaged souls who'd found each other. Found family. Found home. But the war wasn't over. Antonio Castellano survived the assault. Retreated. Regrouped. And he was planning something worse. Something that would use their greatest strength against them. He'd seen how Sofia controlled Thor. How the dog obeyed her completely. Trusted her absolutely. What if they could break that bond? What if they could turn Thor back into the weapon he'd been? Use him against Dominic and Sofia. Force the dog to choose between conditioning and love. Between trained violence and earned trust. Antonio made calls. Found the men who'd trained Thor to fight. The ones who'd broken him before Maria rescued him. The ones who knew his triggers. His weaknesses. The commands buried so deep, even rehabilitation couldn't erase them completely. They'd come for Thor. Reactivate his programming. Turn him back into a killer. And when the dog attacked Sofia, when Dominic had to choose between saving the woman he loved or the dog his sister died protecting, that's when they'd strike. When they'd destroy everything the 3 of them had built. The final trap was set. The ultimate test. Could love and healing overcome trauma and conditioning? Could trust survive when pushed to breaking? Could Thor choose his new pack over his old programming? The Castellanos were betting no. That damage was permanent. That monsters stayed monsters. That taming was just illusion waiting to shatter. But they didn't understand what Sofia had taught both Dominic and Thor. That healing wasn't about erasing the past. It was about choosing the future. Every single day, even when the past came calling, even when violence seemed easier than vulnerability, even when giving up felt safer than fighting, they trained for this. All three of them, without knowing. Every morning session, every moment of trust, every choice to be gentle when the world demanded cruelty. They'd been preparing for the moment when everything would be tested, and that moment was coming. Fast, brutal, inevitable. The Castellanos were moving. The old trainers were hired. The trap was baiting. Soon Thor would face his worst nightmare. The voices and commands that had made him a monster. The question was, would Sofia's love be enough to call him back? Would Dominic's trust hold? Would the pack they'd built survive when the whole world tried to tear it apart? 3 damaged souls. One final test. Everything on the line. The untamable facing the ultimate challenge. Stay tamed, or become the beast again. The war was coming, and nobody, not even Sofia, knew if love could really conquer trauma, or if some damage was just too deep, too permanent, too broken to ever truly heal. Tomorrow would bring answers. Tonight, they held each other and hoped. That hope was enough. That love was stronger. That family meant something even when blood and violence tried to destroy it. The calm before the storm. The peace before the war. The moment before everything changed. Forever. The attack came at dawn. Sofia heard them before Thor did. Years of sleeping light in dangerous homes made her alert to wrong sounds. Wrong movements. She grabbed Dominic's arm. Shook him awake. Something's wrong. Thor's pacing. Listen. Dominic was up instantly. Gun from the nightstand. Thor at the bedroom door, growling low and continuous. Not his protective growl. Something different. Confused. Agitated. Like he was hearing something nobody else could. Remembering something buried deep. They're here. Dominic's jaw clenched. The Castellanos. Final play. Marcus. He grabbed his phone. Perimeter breach. North side. Mobilize everyone. But it wasn't a standard assault. The men who came over the wall weren't carrying guns. They carried speakers, playing sounds, high-pitched whistles, commands and languages Thor hadn't heard in years. The fight trainers' voices, the ones who'd broken him, conditioned him, made him a weapon before Maria rescued him. Thor's body went rigid, every muscle locked. His eyes changed. The gentle trust Sofia had built vanishing behind something older, darker, more dangerous. The conditioning surfacing, taking over, erasing months of healing in seconds. No. Sofia moved toward him slowly, carefully. Thor, baby. It's me. It's Sofia. You're safe. You're home. Those voices can't hurt you anymore. But Thor wasn't hearing her. Was hearing commands. Kill commands. Attack commands. The ones burned into his brain through pain and starvation and violence. His head swung toward Dominic. Toward Sofia, seeing threats, seeing targets, the programming overriding everything they'd built. Thor lunged, not at intruders, at Dominic. 80 pounds of conditioned violence. Jaws open, going for the throat. The exact attack pattern the trainers had drilled into him. Kill the alpha, establish dominance, survive. Sofia threw herself between them. No calculation, no thought, pure instinct. Her body hit Thor mid-leap, knocked him sideways. They crashed together into the wall. Thor's teeth inches from her face. Snarling, snapping. The beast fully emerged. Thor. Sofia's voice cut through. Commanding. Certain. Remember me. Remember who loves you. Remember you're not that dog anymore. You chose us. You chose family. Don't let them take that away. For a moment, nothing. Thor's jaw is still snapping. I still wild. The conditioning screaming louder than her voice. Louder than trust. Louder than love. This was it. The final test. Love versus trauma. Healing versus programming. Everything balanced on a knife's edge. Then Thor stopped. Shaking. Whimpering. The confusion and pain visible. 2 realities warring in his brain. The command saying kill. Sofia's voice saying love. His body caught between violence and trust, between monster and family, between what he'd been made to be and what he'd chosen to become. Sofia didn't move, didn't flinch, stayed on the ground with Thor standing over her. Vulnerable, exposed, trusting absolutely that the bond they'd built was stronger than the conditioning. That months of gentle hands and patient healing had reached deeper than years of abuse. Good boy. Her voice broke, tears streaming. That's my good boy. I know you're confused. I know those voices hurt. But Thor, look at me. Really look at me. I'm your person. Dominic's your person. We're your pack. And pack doesn't hurt pack. Ever. Thor's body sagged, the aggression draining. He collapsed against Sofia, crying. Dogs don't cry, but Thor was crying, shaking and whimpering and pressing against the woman who'd saved him, who'd trusted him even when he almost killed her, who'd chosen to believe healing was stronger than damage. This is the moment. Hit subscribe and share this incredible story. Dominic was moving, out the door, down the stairs, toward the men with their speakers and their commands. His men engaging, gunfire erupting. But Dominic wasn't using guns. He was using rage, pure protective fury. These people had tried to break Thor, had tried to turn his dog into a weapon against the woman he loved. He reached the lead trainer, the man who'd tortured Thor, who'd sold him to fighting rings, who'd been paid by the Castellanos to undo everything Maria and Sofia had built. Dominic's hands closed around his throat. You try to take my dog. Dominic's voice was death. Try to make him hurt the people he loves. Try to prove that damage is permanent, that healing is a lie. You were wrong. The man choked, struggled. Dominic squeezed harder, watching the life drain, feeling nothing but satisfaction. This was justice. For Thor, for Maria, for Sofia, for every broken thing these monsters had destroyed. Boss, Marcus's shout. The Castellanos are here. Antonio himself. North Gate. Dominic dropped the trainer, let him gasp and crawl, turned toward the real target. Antonio Castellano, the man who'd killed his sister, who'd tried to kidnap Sofia, who'd orchestrated everything, who thought he could break Dominic through his heart. Sofia appeared at the top of the stairs. Thor beside her, the dog's eyes clear now, calm, determined. He made his choice. Pack over programming, love over conditioning, family over everything. The three of them descended together, united, ready. Antonio stood in the driveway, 10 men flanking him, guns drawn, confident, smiling. Dominic, we need to talk about your future, about stepping down, about what happens to people who don't know when they've lost. I haven't lost anything. Dominic's voice was steel. You try to break my dog. Failed. Try to take my woman. Failed. Try to make me weak. Failed. All you've done, Antonio, is make me realize what I'm fighting for, and make me willing to do anything to protect it. Then you'll die protecting it. Antonio raised his gun, aimed at Sofia. You first, sweetheart. Let him watch you bleed. Then the dog. Then him. Nice and slow. Thor moved faster than anyone expected. The conditioning might have tried to make him attack family, but it had also made him lethal to enemies. He launched, crossing 15 feet in seconds. Hit Antonio's gun arm, jaws locking, the weapon firing wild. Bullet hitting nothing but sky. Chaos erupted. Dominic's men engaging the Castellanos. Sofia dropping low, crawling to cover. Thor savaging Antonio, the boss who'd orchestrated everything, who'd thought the dog was his weapon, discovering he'd created his own destruction. Dominic reached Antonio, pulled Thor off gently. Good boy. That's enough. We've got him. Thor released. Saturday. Waited. Obedient. Controlled. The perfect balance of fierce and gentle. Exactly what Maria had envisioned. Antonio bled from a dozen wounds. Nothing fatal. Everything painful. Dominic knelt beside him. You wanted to know my weakness. Thought it was Sofia. Thought it was Thor. You were wrong. My weakness was thinking I had to be alone. Had to be hard. Had to reject love to survive. Sofia taught me different. Taught me that healing is strength. That vulnerability is power. That choosing life over death. Hope over revenge. Love over hate. That's what makes me dangerous. He stood, gestured to Marcus. Take him, and everyone who came with him. Let the feds have them. Antonio Castellano. The Castellano family. They're done. Finished. We're moving forward. No more blood feuds. No more revenge. We protect what's ours. Build what matters. Live instead of just survive. The cleanup took hours. Federal agents arriving. Arrests made. The Castellano empire dismantled. Dominic's organization emerging stronger. United. Clear about what they protected and why. Not just territory. Not just money. But family. Chosen family. The kind built through trust and healing instead of blood and violence. Sofia found Dominic in Maria's old room, looking at photos. His sister smiling with Thor. Both happy. Both alive. Before everything went wrong. She touched his shoulder. He turned, pulled her close, buried his face in her hair. Thank you. His voice muffled. Raw. For saving him. For saving me. For showing us both that broken doesn't mean beyond repair. That damage isn't destiny. That love, real love, can heal wounds we thought were permanent. You did the work. Sofia held him. Both of you. Thor chose to trust. You chose to be vulnerable. I just showed you it was safe. That healing was possible. That you deserve softness. Marry me. Dominic pulled back. Looked at her seriously. I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. But Sofia, you walked into my life and changed everything. Made me want to be better. Made me believe in hope again. In love. In futures that don't end in violence. Marry me. Be my wife. My partner. My family. Yes. Sofia didn't hesitate. Yes, absolutely yes. I'll marry you. Build a life with you. Heal broken things together. Create the sanctuary your sister wanted. The one where damaged souls find safety. Love. Home. They married in the garden. Where Thor had first surrendered to Sofia. Where healing had begun. Small ceremony. Just staff and close associates. Thor stood between them. Ring bearer. Part of the ceremony. Part of the family. The dog who'd brought them together. Who'd taught them both that trauma could be overcome. That love was worth the risk. Sofia transformed the estate. Built the sanctuary she dreamed of. Rescued aggressive dogs. Abused animals. The ones everyone else gave up on. Proved over and over that damage wasn't permanent. That patience and understanding could reach the unreachable. Heal the unhealable. Save the unsavable. Dominic supported everything. Funded the sanctuary. Protected it. Used his reputation to ensure no one interfered. The fear mafia boss becoming the defender of broken things. The protector of last chances. The proof that people could change. Could choose better. Could become more than their worst moments. The staff watched the transformation. Margaret crying at the wedding. Marcus admitting he'd been wrong about Sofia being a distraction. She wasn't distraction. She was focus. Purpose. The reason their boss became a man worth following instead of just fearing. Months became years. The mansion filled with rescued animals. With laughter. With the sounds of healing. Thor grew older. Slower. But happy. Content. Surrounded by the family he'd chosen. The people who'd chosen him back. Who'd seen beyond the monster to the soul underneath. When Thor died. Peacefully. In his sleep between Sofia and Dominic. They buried him in the garden. Under Maria's favorite tree. The plaque read, Thor, who taught us that healing is possible. That love is stronger than trauma. That family is chosen. That the untamable can be tamed. Through patience, understanding, an absolute unwavering belief that broken souls deserve second chances. Sofia was pregnant by then. Their daughter born that spring. Named Maria, for the sister who'd started everything. Who'd rescued a dog and set in motion a chain of healing that saved 3 broken souls. Who'd known, somehow, that love left behind could bloom in unexpected ways. The sanctuary grew, became famous. People traveled from everywhere, bringing their impossible dogs, their damaged animals, their last hope cases. Sofia took them all, proved again and again that understanding was more powerful than force. That patience outlasted conditioning. That love, real love, could heal anything. And Dominic, the boss who'd been untamable himself, who'd lived in rage and grief for years. Found peace, found purpose, found that protecting what you love is more powerful than destroying what you hate. That building is harder than breaking. That choosing vulnerability over violence takes more courage than any fight. They built something beautiful, from ashes and blood and desperate courage, from a vicious dog and a gentle woman and a broken man. Built family, built home, built proof that the most damaged souls just need someone who understands their pain, who doesn't give up, who believes healing is possible even when everyone else says it's not.